Welcome to Root and Rewire, a grounded, mystical space for awakening, remembering, and becoming. I'm Kayla, and here we explore the shifts, the stories, and the synchronicities that reshape us from the inside out, along with the mystical, the unseen, and the magic that's woven into everyday life. Take a deep breath, soften into yourself, and let's begin. Welcome to episode 2 of the Root and Rewire podcast. I'm Kayla. I'm excited to have you all here today. Thank you so much for listening. I set up my space today and unintentionally I made it all very green. My green candle, my green sweater. I have these beautiful green plants. So it feels connected to the heart. Just a reminder of how safe this space is and what I intend to create this space to be. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I wanted to tap into the topic of neutrality today. I posted a reel on my Instagram about neutrality and how it's showing up for me, and I wanted to extend this conversation a little bit more and talk into the energetics of neutrality, what it may mean, some examples of how it shows up, and how you can start to implement neutrality. Let's dive into it. Okay, neutrality from my vantage point has been extremely misunderstood. A lot of us may think that, at least what I thought, neutrality meant indifference, it meant creating distance. But what I'm learning now is that true neutrality is actually a form of deep, deep intimacy with yourself. I think it's important to reframe this idea of neutrality and understand that it's not emotional avoidance. It's what I think to be this sacred middle ground between attachment and aversion. It's where you can feel without being pulled in any specific direction. Neutrality isn't the absence of desire or emotion. It's the ability to stay present without letting the outcome determine who you are. To give an example, in my intimate relationship, I've noticed my pattern when I feel defensive or unheard, either of two actions. I will lash out and the other person becomes extremely uncomfortable because I didn't know how to settle this emotion in my body. Or I completely walk away with no intention of coming back until I feel settled in myself. I thought neutrality meant it didn't matter. Like, I don't care. I'm at this point where I actually don't really give a shit what the outcome is. I don't really have any emotion behind it. But what I'm learning now is neutrality is your ability to stand in your body, feel your emotional depth, process it, understand it, and then be able to connect it from a place of intuition. Balance this emotion that's coming up. And once you understand it, understand where it comes from, understand what it's trying to show you, at that point, it's easy then to see the situation for what it is. I'm actually very triggered by what you said because it's pointing back to this area of lack in my life. And it actually truly has nothing to do with you. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are seated with your partner and you guys begin to get into a conversation about how there's a lack of emotional intimacy in your life, in your relationship. And from your side, maybe you feel as if you're the one who's constantly bringing this emotional connection. You may feel your partner isn't, right? It's all on me. I'm doing all the work. I'm the one who likes to get super deep and connect, and you don't really know how to show up in this way. You're talking about emotional intimacy, and your partner says, I feel as if I do show up in an emotional way, but you just don't take the time to understand how I express my emotions. And I think that makes you very selfish. Okay? Now, here in this context, we probably would be like, okay. Okay, you said that. That's fine. I don't really. But let's say you got super aggravated about this comment and start to spiral. How dare you think I'm selfish? How dare you say that with how much I pour into this relationship, pour into your growth? How dare you say I'm selfish? Not understanding neutrality, coming from I'm triggered, we could lash out, walk away, and never fully get to an area of resolution. Or we can sit and think to ourselves, okay, that really fucking triggered me. I really didn't appreciate that. He called me selfish. Okay, why does that trigger me so much? That triggers me because I feel as if I pour so much into this relationship that this comment makes it apparent that he isn't seeing how much work I put into us. Why does that trigger you? Because I feel like he isn't seeing me. Now, when was the first time I could think about feeling unseen and why it may be showing up as a trigger for me here today? Probably when I liked this guy in middle school, but he didn't like me back. He only liked girls that looked a certain type of way, and he completely went past me without giving me a chance. Wow, okay. So this old belief, this subconscious memory is now controlling how I show up in my relationships. This is really triggering me because it's bringing me back to when I was in middle school. And it's making me realize I never really saw or understood her. I never gave her the opportunity to feel seen. This version of me, right? Okay, so now I'm understanding why this trigger is showing up. And what's the truth here instead? The truth is I am seen because I see myself. We've traced it back, understood it, and now I can finish this conversation where I'm now speaking from my intuition, and I'm no longer speaking from the part of me, the younger version of me, the middle school version of me that felt hurt and unseen. That's how we integrate that. Relationships, friendships, jobs, everything in life is powerful because they are mirrors to areas of our own self. This person, situation, or whatever happens that causes you to feel this trigger is telling you something. Look at this. I'm causing you this feeling so you can sit with it and understand what you've been avoiding. Separate the blame from the other person, from the situation, place it back onto the attention, back onto the emotion, and get ourselves back into our body, into that space of the in-between. And that is what it's about, right? Now, neutrality doesn't just apply to people and relationships. It also applies to the things we want and desire most. If you really desire something, couldn't you say, You are attached to a specific outcome, which is getting that thing, getting more money, getting a new car, getting a new dog, getting a new job. We become attached to this outcome, which creates contraction and resistance, any external chaos, any delays, any disappointment. Let's say you're looking for a new job. You're really ready for it. And every single job you apply for rejects you. Now, us feeling resentment, us feeling resistance, I want this thing, I am not getting this thing. So this is showing us that most of our suffering doesn't actually come from what's happening. It comes from how tightly we're holding on to what we want or do not want. And this is where neutrality comes in. If you work on neutrality enough, you may find that things come to you a whole lot quicker because we're no longer attaching ourselves to a specific outcome. We're no longer being resistant toward delays. We're in that middle where, okay, I can see the beauty in both. I can see the positives towards having a brand new job, creating this brand new opportunity, but I could see why having a new job would be the worst thing in the entire world. I can see both sides. Now, if it happens or doesn't happen, I'm completely okay because I can see the positives and the negatives of what getting this thing could look like. I also see the positives and negatives towards not getting this thing. That is that sacred middle. That is what neutrality is. It's coming from a place of love, care, and understanding so that all these outside things are no longer controlling your internal environment. You are. You are controlling your internal environment. This doesn't mean to stop desiring or caring. At this point, it's just stopping from allowing this leak in your nervous system into the future. It means that your desire, your wants, no longer own you. And you can see the beauty in just having an experience. Since I started tackling neutrality, the triggers have been showing up like crazy. I've been getting triggered by the smallest things. And I'm like, oh, this is what this is showing me. It's expanding my capacity for love. As I've been practicing neutrality, I've noticed my body shifting because everything is connected. In those moments where I'm fully triggered, where I'm fully activated, my body is braced. I am tightening. I'm starting to understand how much we store emotions in our bodies. This is why neutrality becomes important because I'm releasing this hold of this emotion on my body. So my body can come back into neutral. It doesn't brace, it stays open. From that openness comes clarity, intuition, softness. That's the beauty. I do think it's important that at the end of some episodes, I give you something tangible to practice so that you integrate the lessons. Next time you feel emotionally charged, ask yourself, how long can you sit with this emotion? Talk to it. I am feeling anger because blank. Start to pick this emotion apart. You are not that emotion. You are experiencing it. The first step of neutrality is actually allowing the sensation before trying to alter or change the story, right? Because we're not bypassing here. We're not using neutrality so that we don't have to feel anything at all. No. We actually want to feel all of it. How long can I sit with this anger? How long can I sit with this resentment? How long can I sit with this frustration? feel it and allow yourself, your body, to process it, to understand it, and to open it up so that you can get back to clarity and devotion to yourself. Look at things not as, I hate you for doing this to me. I can't believe this is happening. This is the worst thing in the entire world, to, okay, I got it. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm understanding why I'm triggered. And this does suck. This is the worst. But this is also the best thing ever for me. Why? This is why emotions are so fun, right? Yes, they suck. They can really suck, and you could feel them so intensely, but there's meaning behind them. And that's what this human experience is about. It's about feeling it all. Feeling as many sensations as you can to get to a level of understanding within yourself. The more you experience, the more you feel, the more you understand yourself. So nobody can say or do anything to you that will affect you because you've been through it. You've pieced it together. You've gotten to a level of understanding that cannot be contradicted. Neutrality is self-trust in real time. It's knowing that no matter how this turns out, I am still here for myself. When I choose neutrality, I am not giving up. Instead, I am choosing presence. And the more I understand my own emotions, the more I can understand someone else's. The more I can fully understand my partner, the more I can fully understand my friends, the more I can fully understand my family, the more I can fully understand my coworkers, the more I can fully understand this stranger that I met in the bathroom that wants to tell me their entire life story, the more I can understand. Everyone is a reflection. Everyone is holding up a mirror. And so is every situation. It's holding up a mirror. And it's allowing me to see what I have not allowed myself to see. And one of the triggers that I've had this week has been external. I had my first mechanical issue with my car. My car was sputtering. I was driving to a work lunch, and it was almost like my car was turning off and on, is what it felt like. And I sat with myself, and I started going down this rabbit hole of why I'm triggered. Why is this happening to me? What is my higher self trying to tell me? What is my environment trying to tell me with my car having this engine issue? And as I was driving home, I was getting to this resolution. I am obviously moving too fast in my life. There are things I'm running past, I'm not taking the time to look at, and it's affecting how I run and experience my everyday life. There's room for me to slow down and look at my own mechanics and how it's affecting my body like this is affecting my car. So this is when I could start to go into my life and be like, okay, is this creating potential for me to step into my highest self, or is this actually doing more detriment to me? I was able to get to this resolution. I did drop my car off with a guy I trusted. I know it's going to get fixed. What was it pointing to about my life? So I could alter, fix it, and create something that does resonate with who I am trying to step into. This version of me I am working to become. So this awful thing became a beautiful thing. It became an opportunity to diagnose my life. If it feels safe, I ask to just pause for a second as you're listening to this. The things that are showing up in your life right now, they are trying to tell you something. So take the time to sit with and unpack what's trying to show you. What are your emotions trying to show you? What are they pointing towards? And you can start small here with feeling an emotion and feeling it long enough that it doesn't become uncomfortable anymore. So with it 10 seconds longer than, what you would normally do and turn on the TV and try to ignore it. That's step one. Feel it a bit longer. Then unpack it and see it from a different vantage point. Thank you guys so much for being with me today, for supporting me and tuning in. I hope you resonated with something. I hope that something spoke to you and you start to integrate something that you heard or learned into your own life, because you and everybody else has such great potential. There is something that is calling you to look at it. There is something asking you to integrate it. Your body, your life, your world is speaking to you all the time. But can you listen? And will you listen? I think you should. And if you're listening to this, I feel like you think that you also should. Thank you guys so much. If you feel called to connect further, please feel free to go to my Instagram. You can message me with any questions, or if you want someone to listen. My Instagram will be linked below. I look forward to hearing you. Have a great rest of your day. It's 11:11 as I'm finishing this. Oh, that's amazing. That's how I knew that this podcast was meant to be today. Thank you so much for your support and tuning in today. If this episode supported you and you would like to share, or if you're just looking for someone to connect with, you can find me on Instagram at Soil and Soul Sister. I hope to hear from you. I would love to hear from you. And until next time.